Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet an amazing nonprofit, Women with Promise. It helps women who are struggling with something. You'll hear their story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know I have a passion for nonprofits, and I love to put a spotlight on people who are doing amazing things right here in our backyard. And on the show today, Shannon Summers. She's the head of marketing for Women with Promise. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a real treat to be here in your beautiful studios.
Well, thank you, and I'm blessed to have you. Let's talk about Women with Promise. How old is the organization?
Women with Promise is about 11 years old, and we have been working tirelessly for the past 11 years to help women right here in North Texas.
And so talk to me about the kinds of clients that you serve.
Sure. Well, Women with Promise, we do 2 different things. We help support organizations that help women right here in North Texas. So organizations that partner with us are like Agape or Genesis, Hope's Door, Young Women's Preparatory Network, Bright Beginnings. So we will help support those organizations. And when women that have come through those organizations have their basic needs met, so they're safe, they have somewhere to live, they have food and clothing, then they start to think, okay, what's next? What can I do to really build a successful life, a self-sustaining life, maybe even go back to dreams that I thought I had lost? And that's where we'll come in with scholarships, whether it's vocational school, a certification, college. We'll work with them for any kind of education assistance they need to get them on that track for building a better life for themselves and their families.
We're going to pull up your website, and as we scroll on the website, if you had to guess, how many women have you served in the last decade?
Well, we know that we've helped over 55,000 women and children right here in North Texas, so we're really pleased with that. We started our scholarship program about 5 years ago. We've had 17 scholars, and we've donated or awarded them $50,000 in scholarships.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You have to feel so fulfilled to lend your time and talents to this wonderful organization.
Oh, absolutely. This is, and I might cry when I talk about this because it is definitely a labor of love. Definitely a labor of love.
And how were you introduced to the organization?
I was introduced to the organization by a friend of mine. I had been talking about how I had left a corporate job that I had done a lot of work helping women, and I knew in my next corporate role I might not have that opportunity, so I was going to really miss that. And a couple of days later, she called me and said, I have someone I want you to meet. And she introduced me to Leisha Cadwallader, who was the founder of Women with Promise and our current chairwoman. And so Leisha and I had lunch, and I heard the stories of the women that Women with Promise helped, and I was hooked. And that was 5 years ago. So, and I've loved every minute of it.
You were telling me right before the show a success story that you were that you wanted to share.
Now, there's been so many wonderful success stories, and when you hear the stories of these women who are coming through these challenging circumstances, it's heartbreaking what they have been through. One that I particularly remember was such a challenging story of a woman who had come to this country to get married, so she left everything she knew, her family, her friends, her work as a doctor. She was an OB-GYN, and she came here, got married, and after several years, 2 children, she found herself in a very abusive relationship and, in fact, sustained lifelong injuries that would prevent her from continuing to be an OB-GYN. And so once she was, left the marriage, went through one of our partner agencies, I believe it might have been Genesis Women's Shelter, she realized she needed to go back to work. She needed a way to support herself and her children. But she could no longer practice medicine because of the injuries she sustained in her marriage. And so we worked with her to get certification so that she could practice a different kind of medicine here in the U.S. So that was a certification, but it really meant all the world to this woman who could go back to following her dreams, building a life for herself and her children. And that's just so meaningful.
Sure, what an incredible story. We're going to pull up your Facebook page, and as we pull this up, there's a little slideshow, and I want you to kind of narrate this for us, because I think this was an event, was it last year?
This is an annual event we do. It's our most popular event of the year. It's called Cocktails and Couture, and it is a fashion show that we do with Neiman Marcus. And you can see the guests, the beautiful fashion, of course, our fabulous sponsors. So that was last year's event. It's our most popular event. We sell out every year. And this is actually coming up again on December 4th. So that's why I put that promotion out there to remind people they can still buy tickets.
That's perfect. We're going to pull up the event page of your website, because I think it has a big graphic that talks about this event. Is it,
Absolutely.
Can people still buy tickets? Is it?
People can still buy tickets, but the deadline is this Friday.
Okay.
So we'd love you to come. It's $130, but you get a wonderful gift. You get to network with like-minded women and do some good for the community, and get to witness a great fashion show put on by the fashion experts at Neiman Marcus. But there is another way that you can help.
Sure.
If you don't, if you're not able to attend, or you happen to be out of town that day, whatever the case, we have a fabulous raffle. We're known for our signature designer handbag raffles. We've got a lot of gifts, but it's always led by a great designer handbag. And you can still buy tickets for that. You can find a link on our LinkedIn page or at womenwithpromise.com. You don't have to be present to win, which is fabulous. And so we'd love to have you support by buying a raffle ticket.
How do you come by your clients? I mean, how do they find out about you?
Well, there's a couple of different ways that our clients will find out about us. One is through the organization that they're working with, so who we partner with in the community. So that could be Agape Resource Center, Hope's Door New Beginning Center, Genesis Women's Shelter, even the Young Women's Preparatory Network. Most recently, we helped an organization in Denton County called Baby Bright Beginnings. So sometimes it's word of mouth. Sometimes it is through the work of Jackie Rodriguez, our fabulous partnership chair. And so that's how we'll partner with the organizations in the community. And then how we give out our educational scholarships are recommendations of women who have gone through those partner programs.
Wow, I'm so inspired by your story. We have about a minute left, so look into that camera on the left and make a kind of a final case for why they need to come alongside you.
Sure. Well, listen, our Women with Promise community is filled with difference makers, and those are professional women who really want to network with purpose and like-minded women. And together as a community of women, we really believe that all women have promise, and that women coming from challenging circumstances are really looking for a hand up, not a hand out, but a hand up, and we want to be there to help them. You know, so many of us have been blessed with so much that we are grateful for, and we really want to be able to support other women right here in our community. So your dollars will go to a great place by supporting us, and when you come to our events, you will meet an incredible community of women and find a place to stay.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to leave you with the website, which is womenwithpromise.org. The great Shannon Summers. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jeff. This has been so wonderful to shed a spotlight on the work that we do.
Absolutely. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.